Radiant team pick. Mirana.
Naga Siren.
Slada.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Betway WCA 2016. We've got day 2 of the European coverage up here. Alliance versus Vega, our first matchup, and we will have a second match coming up after this one. Still in the upper bracket, no elimination today. Hot off of the TI shuffle, a lot to look forward to. I'm Zyori, joined again, or not again, joined for the first time in this tournament by Purge. Purge, what's going on, man? How you feeling coming into WCA 2016?
Feeling pretty great. It's an awesome match to watch. Vega has a new roster here. Their new players, I believe, Spurg, Ben, can't remember if he was on the team before, but it's a lot of typical Russians and Ukrainians that we've seen before. And I'm excited to see how the new roster works out against Alliance here. They do have one stand-in though, Pablo. It's not too new. I think he's been standing in randomly all across the place, and
I feel like
in the
I've
lobby
seen him
as
before.
well. Yeah, in the lobby as well, they were like, oh, we might have to use another stand-in. I don't think there's anything roster-wise. So we'll see how that works against him.
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday, we didn't see too much out of the norm. Some people have been curious, what does the meta look like post-TI? And really doesn't seem to be too different. 6.88C came out, but pretty minor changes. And here we're seeing pretty familiar faces. Mirana Shadow Demon, the opener for Vega, and Naga Siren Slardar right away for Alliance.
Nothing too weird here. Shadow Demon Mirana. I mean, Mirana did get nerfed, but she's still a very, very strong hero. The Naga Slardar is a little interesting to open, but you know, if you think back to the days when Alliance won TI, their favorite thing to do at the time was Naga Siren support, and it's actually pretty decent right now. So if anyone gets arrowed or chronosphered or whatever, then Naga can work really nicely. And the Radiance Rat can be also very good. It's quite good against Mirana actually, Mirana Core, because she has a lot of trouble killing solo illusions with a lot of HP.
Yeah, and Slardar is a good fit in with Naga support. She can, set things up with Ensnare. You can set things up with the ult, and Slardar can come in, find those AoE crushes, get big stuns. It's a nice little bit of synergy, and it does leave things open-ended in case they do decide that they want to run the core Naga, even though it's probably not likely. Let's give them the option here. So a couple of carries being banned out by by Alliance Anti-Mage and Luna. Vega taking out Coddle. We'll see what they want to ban out next. Probably a couple team fight heroes. I mean, there's always that risk of the wombo combo type drafts when you're talking about Naga Siren setup.
There's tons and tons of things, but yeah, things progress. I'm not too surprised about the bans either. Vega obviously banning out Wisp, Broodmother. Those are two heroes that Alliance has a lot of success with, especially Brood. Goldblack is one of the best broods in the world. And Alliance banning out Void. Nothing weird there either. He did receive a nerf, I think, Chronosphere cooldown, I believe. It's a little bit worse again, but I don't think that's really enough to make Void unplayable or anything like that. So,
oh yeah, we saw Void a lot. Yeah, I think we saw Void in 4 out of 5 games, and he was first banned in 1. He seems to be the hot pick, at least right now in the Europe games I've been watching.
It totally makes sense. I mean, he was still a very, very good hero at the end of TI, so I'm sure there will be a bigger balance patch in the next month or so. He'll maybe get hit a little bit harder as well.
Yep, time will tell. So Elder Titan now taking out another good team fighter. Rubik straight away for Alliance. So I guess Pablo is a support player. I don't think they'll be switching up roles too much. Just wondering if that made a difference here.
Okay, is the person missing? It's clearly going to be EGM's hero. This Rubik is very, very strong. Kind of interesting to draft it against SD Mirana. No, it actually isn't, because Nullfield is so good at resisting magic damage, and those two heroes are all about magic. So Nullfield and maybe a pipe on somebody, that it's really goes a long way towards keeping you survivable. Played Gyrocopter against just a pipe alone, which is equivalent to one of Rubik's passives. It made such a big difference in terms of how much damage output I did. So just having Rubik as your support, even if you don't necessarily steal the best skills, can make a huge impact.
And there is still a lot to steal from those two heroes as well. Disruption, Arrow, things like that can help you guys help their team set up ganks, and vice versa, I guess, with the disruption. So a lot of ways Vega can take this draft now. It's super standard with the Shadow Demon Mirana, probably a core Mirana, most likely in the mid lane. That's where we've seen her most commonly. But we did actually see a support Mirana yesterday as well. So one of those, sort of like the Naga, even though it's not so likely, still a possibility that they'll do that role swap. Curious what Vega want to do here to follow up with this.
Yeah, Something resistant to minus armor might be nice because of both Slaughter and Naga, so some solution there is going to be needed. They still don't have their SD combo, but a lot of the common heroes have been banned out. Luna, Draw Ranger, all banned. They can still pick something like Morphling. Morphling's pretty good in that way, just because Slaughter amp damage does work, but it's not the best solution ever, because Morphling has somehow more armor than all of that.
Yeah.
So something like that could work really well, maybe. But then
That's
again,
true.
they have Rubik.
There is the Terrorblade, though. In terms of illusion harassment, Luna, Terrorblade, Morphling, pretty much the top 3. I do like the Dazzle choice, though. Support that pairs fairly well with the Shadow Demon. It gives you that high burst damage in the lane, disruption, heal bomb on the illusions. Always pretty potent.
Yeah, it's always really good, and Weave to have against all of that minus armor is going to help as well. They are still going to have trouble dealing with Naga illusions. It is the Naga carry. But again, it's a lot more common for Alliance to do carry Slardar than Naga carry, so I'd be a little surprised if they did Naga carry, but not something that they do that as well, so it definitely could happen.
So what are we thinking? Wow, this is still pretty open-ended for Alliance. Probably safe lane Slardar, off lane Axe, and then S4 hero final pick would be my guess of how they want to set these lanes up.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Sometimes they also do 4-position Axe. I think Ake's played it a couple times, so it's possible to do something like jungle.
Okay.
But, you know, could be a dual lane also, especially against Rubik, or with Rubik. Chance.
Yeah, they do really like that position 1 Slardar. Secure him a little bit of early farm, maybe rush the armlet, go right into a Blink Dagger, and then you can start getting mobile. Once Axe and Slardar both have Blink Daggers, you can just move around the map and be that bruiser squad, you know, looking for ganks. If you catch anybody, it's almost a guaranteed kill, especially with amp damage. It's a pretty scary duo.
I mean, Grave and Disruption help a lot, obviously. Normally Grave isn't going to be very useful because Axe obviously can chop through it, but Disruption alone can buy you a lot of time. You can even do something like Disrupt the Axe. That'll save you in some ways. Sand King gives him another reliable disable though, and that's a hero that's been seeing a lot of play lately, because of the impact of his laning. He can lane very effectively against a wide variety of heroes. They can even try to do a 1v1 Sand King versus Axe, or 2v1 Sand King Dazzle versus Axe is a... So it's going to make it a lot harder for Alliance to play this game now. Got tons of disables, they've got lots of saves as well. And they're gonna have a lot of magic damage output.
There it is. The AA ban right into the Morphling. That AA ban absolutely on point here. Would have been a great final choice for Alliance if it's a core Naga Siren. But they're gonna cover their bases, and we'll see what they want to grab for S4. Something. What's the dream to control this Morphling? Puck was a hero that came to mind for me, just to have a silence to try and deal with him, but I don't know that that's something Alliance want to go for here.
It's honestly a pretty good puck game, but it's going to really limit their late game potential.
Yeah.
Especially unless they do Slardar support, it's really going to limit their... Just because they don't have that much carry. Like, Slardar versus Morph is really dangerous, because once Morphling gets like E-Blade, if Slardar initiates or takes a fight but doesn't have BKB people, he's just going to get blown up almost instantly, so it's a bit of an iffy looking game for me for Alliance here. Their lack of carry potential at the moment, and even like Naga Siren versus Morphling isn't that amazing, because worst case he just makes a replicate of the Naga Radiance, and then they've got Radiance on their own team. So
yeah, that's
a really good pick
point.
Here.
That's a really good point. It does cover their bases, and I feel like this Vega draft is also just very standard for this meta. I mean, yeah, there's the skill shot with Mirana, but you've got a couple of stuns or the disruption to try and line it up. You've got pretty good lanes, great early game, and also pretty good late game. Once Mirana gets ags, she'll have a lot of burst damage. Once Morphling gets farmed, of course, he'll have a lot of burst damage. For Alliance, there's a lot of pressure to execute. You know, if they find great Slardar crushes and amazing teamfight setups, they can definitely take this game. But everything's going to have to kind of fall in line. They're going to need good lanes. That is one of the issues with Slardar and Axe, is they're so reliant on that early farm. Not getting a fast Blink Dagger, not getting that first armlet item or blade mail or whatever it is, can turn that hero into kind of a liability, where it takes... It can be scary if they fall behind early. So what's the pick? It's the Juggernaut. Okay, so S4 Jug mid, I guess it'll be.
Okay, it makes sense, I guess, because they're pretty worried about Shadow Demon showing up and basically disrupting into Arrow. And this gives Jug the safety of not dying to that. So the problem is that it's going to really limit their ability to pressure back. Still going to be vulnerable to things like Sand King arrows or Burrow Strike into waveform. I don't know. It's the heroes are very iffy here for Alliance in my, and it's Bulldog playing Slardar, so there's no way it's Axe mid. It has to be Jug mid for sure, right? Jug mid, load up playing Axe, I guess, unless they swap.
I don't really see any reason why you would want to put Axe mid against the Mirana. That's a pretty not fun matchup for the Axe.
It's probably not awful because Mirana's base damage is weak, but I mean, I think Jug makes a lot more sense. Get him a poor man's shield, you don't have to worry about the arrow setups, push out the waves often. So I do at least.
Yeah. It's interesting that both teams have Axe and Sand King because they're both the heroes right now that are notorious for just being the masters of those like 1v1 melee matchups. Who actually wins? If there was some scenario where they did an aggro try, I mean, Loda is going to take the Axe. Who actually wins in that 1v1 lane, Sand King versus Axe?
I think Axe can do it just fine. All you basically have to do is separate where the two creep waves are. Axe can farm the wave in one place and force Sand King to tank up the other wave in a different place. I think it'll be okay with Axe if he plays it right, but if you just stand in the lane and last it normally and don't actually try to utilize your spins, then Sand King would win the lane, most likely.
Okay. All right, Alliance moving through. Looks like they'll make a play at the top rune, guys. Remember, this is the Betway WCA 2016. Betway.com, they make this whole thing possible. There's a button below the Twitch stream. You get a €5 free bet, 18 and over. It is a fully licensed and legal real money betting service, only available in a handful of countries. But if you're one of those countries, check it out. You got to use that link below the stream if you want to get your free €5. But back to the Dota 2 here, Purge. Vega lanes, yep, looking very straightforward. Yeah, off lane Sand King. Let's take a look at wards. Radiant, they'll get some coverage. This is kind of an interesting ward spot down here at the bottom.
Can you tell me what this ward looks like? It looks just like the ward that I always use.
The one with the snake around it?
Yeah, I think it's like it's called Jade.
I think it's a serpent. Yeah.
It's a gem TD ward. This is the first time I've ever seen anybody other than me use it. Pretty excited right now.
I've actually never, I wonder where it comes from. I don't think I've ever seen that thing before.
Probably one of the Chinese New Year.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And other Radiant ward just going to be in the mid lane. Where are these pesky Dire wards? Looks like they're hanging on to them for a bit longer. Pablo.
They not buy them.
Pablo has one.
Okay, so it's actually not EGM playing Rubik. Interesting.
EGM takes the Naga? Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I would say Naga is more of a rare support. So if they're practiced with Naga support, then EGM will be playing it. Period. And Pablo, most players can play Rubik. So.
Are there any other teams right now that are really playing support in Naga? Alliance is the only one that I can think of.
I think there's a couple teams that do it. Too weird, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like DC did it a few times as well. They played Slaughter support, kind of a similar role as well.
Yeah. It's pretty cool having a support that has a magic immunity piercing disable. You know, that's something that not many supports can add to their resume. So S4 takes the Jug against the Mirana. You're absolutely right. The poor man's shield makes this a little bit easier. Looks like it's a great start for the Potom, though. 8-0 compared to the 3-0 Jug, though this wave is going to push into the tower, and now S4 is going to hit his level 2 and get all these last hits. Looks like off lane will be sacked for Vega. Mag just moving into the jungle, dealing with some Centaurs for now. Level 1 Caustic Finale. Was prepared for this, has an Iron Talon. And because of that, EGM was actually farming that hard camp and then dropped down a sentry ward, so it's blocked for the Sand King, limiting space for him to find some farm here.
Kind of interesting. I've never seen Iron Talon Sand King before, but finishes the wave and he instantly TPs back to the offlane for free. Yeah, it's very important that offlaners do this because a lot of times they'll hit the jungle and they'll stay there. So what the carries do is they push the lane. That way they can at least get some tower damage in the meantime. So the fact that he was able to TP to this lane and then resume jungling means normally he'd be able to keep his experience up. But it's a little bit harder now because, again, the camp is blocked. So him TPing up here was a bit weird. As long as Alliance continues to pull and deny these creep waves, then Sand King did waste a lot of time.
Yeah. So far, so good on that front. In terms of the Alliance offlaner, Bulldog, in a similar struggle to the Sand King. He did go Iron Talon first item. He's level 2, just working this hard camp. Not really able to spend much time in lane. You see FNG, very aggressive positioning as he rotates about. Looks like a rotation on the mid lane is inbound S4. Find himself in some trouble. Potential courier snipe as well. Pablo and EGM. They're set up. They're going to move the courier down south. Looks like it's just headed to the Morphling. Actually, not really trying to juke the courier snipe, more just sending it down bottom. Dire's courier, though, however, gets sniped by FNG.
Damn, that's a good snipe.
Wow.
That was the weirdest way I've ever seen a courier run, but I mean, there's such a low chance of them finding it over there. And even if it does, they could just maybe for 15 seconds or so.
With pretty crafty positioning, honestly. He'd been off the map for a little while as well. That's probably one of the last spots you would expect a Shadow Demon to be sitting at 3 minutes.
Yeah, so their rotation actually does nothing. Just probably good map reads from them. Hey, these supports could basically gank whenever they want because we haven't ever been in the offlane, so... And they anticipated a little bit, moved it a bit weird, and for death. I'm surprised they didn't at least go for a kill, but probably not that big of a deal, I guess.
Yeah, Loda getting a lot out of this safe lane, though. The Morphling free farming pretty comparatively, but there's a 10 CS difference. I think some of that is Loda working the jungle as well. He's got the Ring of Protection, Stout Shield, already level 6. So whatever he wants first, if he wants to go Vanguard into Blink or just rush the Blink Dagger, looks like he may go into Vanguard so he has more survivability, but he's off to a great start.
Yeah, even though it's mostly magic damage coming from Vega, just the extra HP that he'll have from it is going to be worth it here.
It's also the timing, too. If you get a 5-minute Vanguard, 6-minute Vanguard, you are super beefy relative to most of the other heroes in the game.
You're going to find FNG here.
Oh, up top, FNG on the run. Looks like he'll be okay for now. EGM finds the net. There's the disruption. Mag comes cruising in with a stun on 2. FNG gets crit. In comes Loda with the dunk, and that'll be the kill there. EGM getting low, but they can't quite find him. Now S4 sets it up again, and Loda gets a double kill. Very nice. Iceberg on the way out. Can they actually chase this? There is a telekinesis. A trio of kills inbound for Alliance. Telekinesis right into the ensnare. Another slam dunk. Hello, Loda. That's going to be a 5-minute Vanguard indeed here, Purge.
My god, what a fight for Alliance there. That was just...
Came out of nowhere.
Once they got the first chop, I knew they were all screwed because the damage output for Vega's 3 heroes there were just so low. It was like, what, they have Burrow Strike, they have like a Mirana Starfall, and that's it. Like, Shadow Demon does no damage. So as soon as they get that chop movement speed and attack speed, their damage output completely blows Vega's out of the water there. Just an easy kill by kill. I thought it was a big misplay by Alliance due to the early spin that did no damage, but once the axe got into the fight, it was just
So Iceberg on the Mirana still only level 5, so not even a Moonlight Shadow to work with when you're in that kind of a scenario. And if we just glance at the graph, it was a pretty even game to about a 1,000 net worth and experience edge for Alliance. Not too bad. Pardon me, for the 5-minute mark. They'll just be able to go back to their lanes and feel pretty comfortable farming up Bulldog, now finding his Tranquil Boots, almost level 5. And Mag, actually still doing okay on XP, also has himself some Tranquil Boots and partway through level 4. So even after taking some missteps there, well, Vegas still have some options. One good thing, FNG had a little bit of space to farm, and he is still doing quite well in terms of overall net worth.
and just about level 6, so...
Set up down bottom, Bulldog maybe? He's just going to be able to walk away. The heal bomb doesn't do nearly as much damage as they were hoping for. Morphling still not really at that stage where he can do big damage. Probably could have waveformed in on it, but instead they will settle for the tower. Denied by Rubik. Nicely done against 3 heroes. Another victory for Alliance as S4 bottles up a haste rune and eats a bounty. Man, everything just turning up Alliance in this early game.
Kidding. The haste rune's going to be really nice too if any fights happen in the next 2 minutes or so. Just show up to it and probably kill somebody.
Yeah.
That first Omni Slash is really important as well. It's one of the things that really allows Jug to get ahead. It's just presses the button and kills somebody weak like a support. So it's gonna be hard for Vega here. Their support levels are still a little behind as well. Shadow Demon's level 3 right now. Sioma is doing pretty well though. He's level 5 on Dazzle. On the other side though, Alliance is kind of hurting for levels 2. Rubik's 3, August 4. Haven't been doing the job pulling.
But Sayoma does have the super sick Dazzle set. I think that was like the ultra rare, and then he's got the Immortal. He is tricked out in cosmetics, so at least he's got that going for him. Yeah. He's doing it in style, Purge. There we go. Alliance now pressuring Tier 1 tower. They'll get the Tier 1 in the Radiant off lane. Last hit will go to Loda, so they trade Tier 1 for Tier 1 essentially, but deny for a last hit on your position 1. Another advantage here for Alliance. That is the Vanguard up, and already 1,400 gold on Loda towards the Blink Dagger at only the 7-minute mark. Just keeps getting better for the Red Man. 5k net worth at 7 minutes, jeez.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the first couple fights though. I mean, he can lose this very easily with like amplify damage plus, and by that I mean Soul Catcher plus like a Burrow Strike plus a waveform. He can go down pretty rapidly. So he's got to be careful still. The Vanguard will do a lot to keeping him alive.
Yeah. FN looks like he'll just go a standard build on this Morphling. Lincoln's probably into Ghost Scepter, E-Blade. Nothing too crazy about it. Pretty good Lincoln's game. They do have a lot of ways to break it with the amp damage, but still well worth it. There will definitely be scenarios towards the late game where having Lincolns against stuff like Ensnare will really come in handy to make those crafty getaways.
Yep, EGM going to do a triple stack on the Dire Jungle. Very nice to do this. Can use illusions, very easy to stack. He did miss one of them. Small miss micro there. Could have gotten triple stack. Got 2. But still, 2 is pretty good. Loda can just shift in the jungle, do these 1 by 1.
Yeah.
And then Blink Dagger time, and that's when their game is going to start offensively.
Kind of another unique part of the Naga kit on the support role. Not many supports can double, triple stack neutrals like that.
Yep.
A Shadow Demon, one of the few that can actually do it similarly, but a little more difficult to pull off.
Yeah, it's really, really good to do that. Again, you shouldn't stack more, but you know, if it only costs you 70 mana and about 30 seconds of your hero's time, it's amazing how effective that can be.
Yeah.
Maybe S4 will do it instead, though.
Absolutely.
About it. Yeah, he actually could. The medium stack here has no magic resistance. He could just spin this down with 1 or 2 spins. I'm sure he'll go for this.
Yeah, there you go. Well, some nice farms for S4. He is kind of middle of the pack. Him and Mirana are both very even in terms of farm. She's now picked up her first point booster, so she gets a little more tanky, opting to skip the arcanes for now as she's already got the bottle. And that is indeed the Blink Dagger for Loda. He's going to have to walk back to the base, but 9 minutes. Blink Vanguard. He might gonna pick up a smoke. Maybe this could be a good time to hunt to reveal the Blink.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he could go tier 2 mid, up with Jug, perhaps, something like that.
Yeah, he also picks up some infused raindrops, added survivability. Great to have against heroes like Mirana, Sand King, Morphling. A lot of magic damage to be absorbed.
And it's free mana regen in the early game. It's so simple. Why would you not buy this item most of the time? They have so few nukes as well. They have very low damage on Vega, so putting a raindrop on top of everything, if you get 2 or 3 procs in a team fight, that's like a free vitality booster. I mean,
That's
it goes
an
away
interesting
eventually,
way to,
but
yeah, it's a consumable, but that's an interesting way to look at it. And when you put it in that context, it makes the items sound really, really good.
yeah, I didn't really understand the strength of raindrops as well as Windlace when they first came out, but I buy Windlace all the time on support now. The movement speed is really valuable, as is the survivability mana from raindrop. Just a really good item.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, pretty quiet early game here. 3 kills for Alliance, and aside from that, it's just been Farm Fest. Tomes of Knowledge come out. Looks like one will get picked up by the Naga Siren straight away. I still haven't bought theirs yet, but I imagine it'll go to this poor Shadow Demon, who is still so starved for experience. FNG still only level 3, lowest in the game, and not even really in a position to start gaining experience. He's going to rotate bottom. He'll absorb a little bit here, but it's still tough going.
It's okay. Shadow Demons not being 6 isn't the biggest deal in the world. I mean, obviously he'd love to have more Shadow Poison levels, or maybe more Disruption levels, or even Soul Catcher levels, but as a support, this is one of the few that it's pretty okay to be under-leveled on. As long as you save an ally with Disruption or set up a kill, and you're in the area when somebody dies, you will catch up. Yeah, that he's a little under-leveled here.
Fair enough. Better than having an under-level Dazzle, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
On the flip side of it, Axe level 11. 2 levels up on the next highest. Mirana and Morphling sitting only at level 9. So speaking to all of that early momentum that Loda was able to pick up free farming away in the lane, he's now picked up the Broadsword, probably the beginnings of a Blade Mail. Really good, efficient item. Gives you some great stats and, well, gives you a lot of damage output as well.
Yeah, it can be great against heroes like Potom and Sand King. A lot of the times they can't control how much magic damage they do. So if you just turn the Blade Mail on, then you can reflect a lot, get a lot of more solo kills. The ward does spot S4 though. They're positioned in a good place. They've been playing very defensive, but not even defensive in the sense that they've been sitting defensive supports behind. That they're just being zoned from their own lanes. Only one redeemable farmer on Vega's side is the Morphling. He's top of net worth. He's very close to his Lincoln Sphere, and at that point he's going to be pretty survivable actually. Alliance is going to need to throw a lot of nukes on him just to burst through the Lincolns.
You know, we saw a game yesterday. The Escape Empire series yesterday was really long. The patch came out, I think, right before the series started, so there were a lot of DCs, a lot of lag issues, tons of pauses. And the first game was like 70 minutes, and in one of them we had a really good Morphling game that started eerily similar to this, where the team with Morphling had a very slow start. They kind of played defensive. They got picked off a few times, but the Morphling was not much of a factor until all of a sudden he woke up with a Lincoln's and a Ghost Scepter. He took a good fight, had an E-Blade, and then after that it was, how did they deal with this Morphling now? And of course, they were able to kill him a couple of times back and forth, but this hero is, you can't sleep on him. I feel like Alliance are doing well at this start, but this mid-game team fight is going to be very telling. If Vega catches them with a good fight, this Morphling is, I feel like he's on the cusp of really getting out of control once the Lincolns comes.
Yeah, he could, and they don't have a huge amount of solutions against him as well. They do have some good lockdown between Slardar and Rubik, but I guess Axe can as well.
And the amp
There's only
helps
so much
for
you can do.
but it's not the best. Yeah, So I guess the point that I'm getting at here is this is not a game where Alliance can just sit back and say, oh, we've got the late game secured. They're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to make some action happen. Down bottom, Bulldog gets initiated on, but nice crush on 2. He will slither back to safety. Now Loda on the way down, looking for perhaps a blink initiation, but can't find it, and they will just have to retreat. Slardar does live, however. Minor victory for Alliance there.
Yeah, I don't... he's close to blink, actually. He's farmed quite a lot. 47 last sets at 12 minutes is pretty
and
great
level
for
9.
offlane.
Yeah,
he's doing quite well. They steal replicate. I don't know, they can do something with God, I guess.
Arrow, whoa, hits Pablo.
He
Rana
doesn't
on
have
the
a
way
ring off,
in.
this is bad.
Looking for a potential kill here. Gets the 2nd star, but it's just not enough damage pre-Ags. Rubik will walk away.
Okay, he's still about 2,000 away from 1,500, not too bad.
Yeah, still farming pretty evenly with the Juggernaut.
See, Alliance now can pressure heavily. Like they're putting pressure on mid tower, off lane. They're getting a lot more done than Vega is right now. They haven't really utilized Sanking either yet, just farming. They've got Blink though.
Just now get his Blink, so maybe this is the time for Vega to start utilizing the Sanking a little bit more. Also getting a fair bit of experience. I don't think we've seen an epicenter from him yet. He's just been kind of passively farming.
Well, he's ready. He's ready to go FP somebody. But where will it be? Probably a support, something like EGM would be kind of nice, just because once you initiate with the epicenter, he won't be able to react.
Oh, and Tome of Knowledge coming out for the Dazzle, it looks like. That's kind of surprising. I thought almost for sure they would give it to the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, again, his ultimate is really nice, but the important thing is more grave levels, things like that can be really...
Yeah,
he's actually going for poison. It's honestly a very good skill right now when you get 4 points into it, but getting those 4 points in is a little iffy.
Yeah.
Up
top
works out.
for a potential setup onto S4, Sanking over the tree line,
Canceled
but Jug, not the easiest hero to gank. Mag actually goes in, channels the Epi, arrow connects. Nicely done by Iceberg, and the Starstorm will secure the kill. Juggernaut falls. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Alliance looking to pressure this tower. FNG forced to TP out, and they might just sack this and go tier 1 for tier 1. Really good setup from Vega, though. Not much S4 could do there with the spin down.
Yeah, they just read it really well. Also, they didn't necessarily have vision. He went for the Blink Burrow Strike under tower, so really nice that they were able to execute that. They should trade a tower because of it's maybe the first big kill we've seen all game, I dare say.
Yeah, this has turned into a really passive game. FN finishes off that tower up top, so it is another tier 1 for tier 1 exchange. Confusing that Vega now have FN and FNG on the same team. They just need to recruit DD and DDC, and
be cute.
They've got all sorts of trickery here. Pushing continues. Morphling level 11 with the Lincoln Sphere. They'll go into the tier 2 up top, and Alliance will just be granted a free tier 1 in the mid lane. Loda getting credit for that one with a double damage rune. He also has his Blade Mail up. 5-on-1 S4. This might not be the place to be.
Burrow Strike, it's the only way they get the kill. It's gonna be close.
Yeah. He does have Blade Fury TP. There it is. Blink Stun. They've got the follow-up damage, and S4 evaporates. Whew.
Man, the Blink Burrow Strike is so dangerous against him. Normally he should be surviving these ganks, but it's just so difficult.
Yep.
Get a courier,
that's a courier. There we go. And it has some cargo on it. FNG gets caught. Loda comes in with a lot of damage, but the arrow saves FNG a bit longer until Admiral Bulldog comes in with the crush. 1 for 1. Now the Song of the Siren is set up. Seoma the Slayer, the primary target that gets caught here. Marana kind of makes it away, but Mag comes in. They counter-initiate, and the Rubik falls straight away. Another 1 for 1 exchange. 2 for 2 overall. Moonlight Shadow, Iceberg hiding in the tree line. It does expire, and they see him. He leaps over, but they should still be able to catch him. Bulldog with the Blink Crush. Now Loda with the Berserker's Call. They don't have the dunk, but they've got the kill, and Alliance find the edge. 3 for 2, and of course they get the courier kill to boot, and that cargo was the Aghanims on Marana. That's a huge courier kill.
Wow, that could have been huge in that fight, actually. 1 more nukes here or there. It just had super limited damage. It was really clear. The survivability that Axe has is just way better than what they're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Blink call onto, who was that, Shadow Demon by the small camp was amazing. I can't believe he was able to get that kill.
Yeah, very impressive.
Must have read it from a Shadow Poison or something. I'm not sure.
Oh, now he just goes right into Boots of Travel. Loda looking for mobility, and I mean BOT is great, so he can kind of ping pong around the map, help the team, split push, that kind of stuff. But Axe is also a hero that just really benefits from the massive movement speed, so we can chase people down and get in range for the call.
Yeah, I like it a lot that he gets to do this just because he bought Vanguard as the safe lane farmer. Normally you'd have to go Tranquils, but if everybody's talking about how good movement speed is with things like Windlace, and being able to go straight into Boots of Travel can sometimes be a great choice. Other times it's just a big waste, but this is going to be one of those times where his extra mobility will help a lot.
BOTs do seem to be on the rise. We're seeing more and more as an effective first item on a lot of different heroes. You know, Ember Spirit is one that comes to mind from a while ago. We were just talking yesterday about Razor. Now a lot of players opting for early Boots of Travel. It's not first item within like the first 10 minutes or so to get that massive movement speed and mobility. Roche now from Alliance.
They did weave it so they know what's going on, and it looks like they might actually back off here. But it looks like Vega has no intention of actually contesting this.
Yeah. Alliance will be nervous with the minus armor. Maybe they'll just wait it out, then head back in. And right now, Alliance have that luxury of not really, like, they're comfortably ahead. They have control of the Roche pit. They don't really have to force it. They know that any opportunity they can just poke back in, use the amp damage. Weave is expired, and now this is a nice, safe Roche.
Just so easy for them to get this with amp damage and Jug. Even Axe alone can just tank this for days.
Yep, they're in great shape. That triple kill for Loda off the bat set the tone for this game and has pretty much set Alliance in control for the entire match. Vega has just been playing catch-up and trying to do what they can to get their core items up. Mirana will have her Aghanims in about 10 seconds. The Courier respawning very soon, and that will open up a lot more possibilities for this Vega squad in terms of finding these kills. Morphling also has Ghost Scepter now, so he's more survivable and getting closer to the shotgun.
But that said, though, Vega's all farming very well. Morling's pretty far up there. Mirana's matching Juggernaut, and Sanking's matching Slaughter. So they're all pretty even in terms of farm levels. The scary part for Alliance, though, is that Sanking should do a lot more than Slaughter can. And with Jug being a little bit behind the Mirana, I don't expect that to really change anytime soon, due to the amount of times he's died. I mean, he's got Aegis at least, so he can maybe dodge one of those ganks or one of those fights, but to get ahead and win a team fight for his team. But it's been really hard for him to find an opportunity. He can't really solo kill Dazzle, he can't solo kill Shadow Demon, he can't do anything to Sanking. All of these heroes are evasive to him. They picked him basically just to avoid ganks, and they haven't really been able to do that yet with him.
Yeah, exactly. What can they do with this Aegis, though? Now S and Y comes out on the Juggernaut, and BOT's on the Mirana. Appears Alliance just want to force some objectives, and they'll move for one of the most obscure towers on the map, the Radiant Tier 2 in the top lane. Might not be one that Vega even bothered to defend. They're starting to gravitate towards the other side of the map, and anytime Alliance starts to push, it seems like Vega are very happy to just trade towers and split push. That's what they've done a number of times now, and in this scenario, they might be able to grab 2 towers. A Tier 1 mid, pretty low on HP, and they're starting to pressure the Tier 2. This could end up being pretty good.
Yeah, this is great for them. They're farming 2 lanes compared to Alliance's just 1, so we'll always get the better trade here, unless they lose somebody.
Yep, Lincoln's gets broken. S4 on the way in, maybe thinking about an Omni Slash here. Can't quite get in range, but Lotus sets it up. There's the Omni, and FN will fall to the dunk. Ends up going well for Alliance. They don't have the detection as Moonlight Shadow's deployed at about half duration. Mag in the danger zone. They could try to turn and pick up some kills here, but Iceberg cuts his losses, TP's home. FNG almost gets caught by Loda. He does a blind Berserker's Call and gets surprisingly close. They'll still find this kill, however. FNG with the disruption just buys himself a little bit of time. Another slam dunk for Loda. He's now on an unstoppable streak as Mag does make it out with the Blink Dagger Force Staff.
Dude, the amp damage Omni Slash did so much damage to the Morphling. He really should have been waveforming, or at least morphing his HP a lot earlier, but damage output is just huge. And I really like the S and Y pickup on Jug. A lot of Jugs go Manta style, but he doesn't really have to this game. There's not anything that he needs to debuff. There's no silences, that kind of a thing. So S and Y is by far the better item over Manta style. Cost alone and movement speed alone, it's a big difference. So he should be able to kite around the fight and get into the places he needs to be more.
Yep, I agree.
Just a random solo kill on Axe there.
Okay.
He must have initiated and then used Blade Mail, most likely. That's probably where he did the run.
Mag down bottom, drops the epicenter. Can he actually find these recovery kills? He doesn't have a stun for another 6 seconds. Pablo steals the Sandstorm. Not quite ideal. Noble effort from Mag, but just doesn't quite have it. A little bit of no field from Rubik, making all the difference in the world. He's finally able to reinitiate and secure the kill. So even though they did lose Moran and Shadow Demon, they do pick up a Rubik, and it's something for Vega, but it seems like most of these trades they keep finding are just constantly favoring Alliance.
Yeah, it does seem pretty good for them. I mean, Pablo still doesn't have a Blink Dagger yet, but he'll get there someday. 800 gold in the bank for him. I mean, he's got no field, he's got Arcane Boots. He's decently farmed. He just needs his team to be able to back him up.
Yeah.
And with Bulldog going to Midas, he's already 1,400 gold in the bank. So, and it's only 22 minutes in. I really like this build, the offlane transition build here. It's gonna be really nice.
I think Alliance is going just farm in general. S4 now with a Perseverance, likely to be the Battle Fury.
I think it's gonna be a Lincoln. Yeah, probably Lincoln's. I think because
good
Battle
against
Fury,
the shotgun.
Yeah, Battle Fury at this point is he could buy it, but it might be a Battle Fury in all honesty. But I think Lincoln's is better.
We have seen some jugs kind of do this, where you get some sort of an early item so that you can fight, and then okay, the game's a little bit slow. I want to be able to keep up the tempo and farm, and then transition into more of a split pushing. I can see it either way, though. You're right. There is a lot of stuff that Lincoln's blocks here. Burrow Strike, Shotgun from Morphling.
Yeah, the Burrow's the important one, really, just because it makes sure that he's less likely to die to the Blink Burrow Strike and follow-up combo, but there are still solutions. Sanking already has a Force Staff, so you could just Blink Force Staff, then Burrow Strike, and then we'll see what it is. Loda could die up top, though. There's 3 enemy heroes ready to go.
There is a smoke from Alliance kind of nearby, though. Mag channeling the Epi. In comes FN. I think they've got the damage for this one. BKB, Blade Mail used. Loda wants to try to stand his ground. He does a fair amount of return damage. Surprisingly close. Almost lives. But Morphling does get the Wicked 6 streak. Now the rest of Alliance inbound. They want recovery kills. Moonlight Shadow TP's home. Iceberg actually does get caught. They'll find one on the Mirana, so they make it a 1-for-1. Definitely not ideal for Alliance, though. It's a Wicked 6 streak, 700 gold going right into the Morphling's pockets.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Not terrible, though. It's not going to be even, like you said, but getting 1 kill out of it will help a lot.
Yeah.
Especially Mirana, actually, because she's the second most farmed hero on their enemy team. If they can keep shutting her down repeatedly in fights like that, she's never going to transition as well. Normally, she should be hitting her stride really hard right now due to the E-Blade from the Morphling, but they're just not going to have that because she keeps dying.
Bulldog, same with the Slayer, going at it in the tree line. Dazzle with limited options. He does not have a TP scroll, so he'll grave by what little time he can. And Bulldog is just going to bring him down. I think Bulldog caught an interrupt when he was trying to leave earlier. I'm not sure if he just didn't have one. I caught that action a little bit late, but Mag up top now. Initiated on. Pablo with the telekinesis. Stun away after the Force Staff. EGM trying to get in position to slow him down, but well done by Mag. Hard hero to lock down when he has these kind of items.
Either way, they got a Burrow Strike steal. That's really dangerous for Vega. Now Rubik can do a double stun on somebody.
Yeah. True. Very good point. Yeah, Rubik's actually picked up a cloak also. Usually null field's enough, but feeling like they have so much magic damage that he just needs it for survivability.
Buy cloak? Did he sell it again?
I think he bought it then just sold it back, actually. It popped in his inventory. Yeah, he got a ward instead.
I think a Blink Dagger is more important. I mean, having something like Glimmer is really good against Vega.
No,
if somebody gets
S4. He gets clipped by an arrow. Double Starstorm. They actually have the damage. Omni Slash the other way. Disruption and the Ag Starstorm finishes him off. A noble effort. Now Loda once more. He jumps in onto Iceberg. He gets in dunk range, and that'll be a counter kill the other way. Another 1-for-1. Mirana. Casualty again.
Well, I mean, bad for Vega, I think. But it's also not good for them either. They would love to trade a support for that, not their cores.
Yep.
So they can put a lot of pressure on the map now. 4 Alliance heroes, they can do basically whatever they want. It actually kind of feels like Vega needs all of their heroes to be effective in fighting, but Alliance just needs like 2 each to kill anybody.
Yeah. This is starting to get rocky for Vega. The lead is not that massive, still only 5k net worth, 7,500 experience, but Alliance just feel like they're the ones in control. They've got the 2 Blink Daggers, they're moving around, they're setting up fights. Juggernaut is indeed going for the Battle Fury, so he's opting for the farming tool. After seeing that little fight there, I'm a bit surprised, but...
I mean, Lincoln's would help him survive, but Battle Fury is going to help him get back into #1 on net worth, so...
Yeah, that's true.
It's alright, honestly. It's completely fine.
And Alliance also don't have great pushing heroes, so I think it's also a recognition that maybe they can control the map, they can start to starve out Vega, but they're not really ending this game anytime soon. The chances of going high ground in like the next 5 to 10 minutes are pretty low, so still plenty of time for the Jug to get value out of this Battle Fury. He's got a triple stack of Ancients he's working on now.
I mean, it really does increase his farm rate by an insane amount. Just the fact that you're doing cleave to everything. Probably farm stacks like 4 times faster or something like that. Actually incredible how much it increases your rate.
Yeah, and he's already a hero that farms reasonably fast. Also having that extra movement speed now from the SNY, you can get from camp to camp that much more quickly.
Yeah, just so good. Like He does a lot of damage now. He just finished Battle Fury and he already has 1,000 gold just from like one large camp and a little bit of an ancient stack.
More
and
big
Greaves
items
on Naga. Like they just have so many strong items for team fighting and staying alive. And the fact that Lotus just consistently been getting kills and not dying as well just changes everything. Playing like carry slot or carry axe basically.
Yep. Big items on both sides. Aether Lens as well as Yule's Scepter now out on Vega. Mag's the one carrying the Yules on the Sand King. A BKB comes out on the Slardar. So now Alliance have 2 BKB wielding Blink Dagger initiators that can jump in and not really feel too scared of any kind of magic counter initiation or Marana arrows. Something that will be tricky to deal with. Arrow up top almost clips Loda. Fall a bit short, and he will be just fine. He's also now upgraded to the Crimson Guard from the Vanguard, so even more survivability for the team.
I still kind of want them to make a pipe just because there is so much magic damage on Vega, but at some point somebody will grab one. I'm not sure who it'll be, but there could just be another BKB picked up by S4, and then they'll just say, we don't really need pipe at all.
I mean, potentially EGM. It might be hard for him to find the farm, but if it does end up being a long game, I think the Naga Siren could be an okay carrier. And, well, looks like the Pit Lord patch has not been repatched. Players still getting random DCs. This is exactly what happened yesterday.
Happened to me in a pub yesterday where 4 of the enemy team just disconnected all at the same time.
Yesterday in the Escape Empire series, we had games where it would be 3 members. It would look like the teams were on LAN. You know, like 3 members of Empire would DC, then they would come back. 5 minutes later, 3 members of Escape would DC, then they would come back, and it would just sort of go back and forth. And it's this weird kind of random. Nobody's really been able to identify a pattern, at least not that I'm aware of. So it's these random DCs, and sometimes it takes a while to reconnect. We had one where Koikba just DC'd, and they said he just can't reconnect. It says Dota's loading, and nothing is loading. We're like, okay, well, I guess we're waiting. So we'll see. I mean, first one in 27 minutes. It's been a little bit better today, but yeah, I don't know if it's just server overload or if there's actually a bug with the patch. Who the hell knows, Purge?
Yeah, we'll find out.
S4 though, almost in trouble. Be all right. Song of the Siren, and looks like Alliance's connections might not be all right. Oh boy.
Well, there's the crash. It doesn't look like they caught them with songs, and I don't think Eden will catch up. So song's a little bit wasted here. Dangerous actually for Alliance. They could turn on this.
Yeah. Moonlight Shadow. It looks like Vega are starting to disengage, but they could actually turn and try to take a fight. The thing is, they need to be cautious about the BKBs. That's maybe the scariest part. Slardar is also not there for Alliance, so it is a 4v5. Something else they need to be wary of.
Yeah, they absolutely shouldn't. It would be too dangerous. I mean, it's minimum like 7 or 8 seconds until Mag can reinitiate with Blink Dagger, but with the spin failing and the song failing, very dangerous.
Let's see. Here's the resume. Vega disengage, and Alliance, kind of the similar idea. EGM presses a little bit further forward. Loda goes in for a blind Berserker's Call. Doesn't catch anything. Disruption. Now he uses BKB, and he will just get out.
Yeah, that was the safe play for sure. Oh, man.
And another crash. Wow. Yeah, I think their entire team just DC'd one by one by one. That Shadow Demon, man, that was like a value demonic purge. It really made Loda panic. And it didn't seem like Vega wanted to take a fight, but forced him into BKB TP almost right away.
Yeah, it's the value of Shadow Demon, man. Especially with Aether Lens. I like this build a lot, actually. Tranquil Boots, Moonlace. He's running around at 400 movement speed and just has huge cast range, so anybody that gets out of his set up on.
And they do manage to catch S4 as they resume. He was very close to the tower. Was he maybe trying to TP home? I don't know. You start to lose focus of those fights. They do get a kill, though, so it works out very well for Vega in the end. They managed to defend this tier 2 tower that Alliance were pushing. That was how the whole thing started. Bulldog still holding on to his 10-second BKB. Loda's down to 8 seconds now, so that was his 9 seconds charge he used there after the Demonic Purge to survive.
It's another big kill on Jug, though. His farm rate is still not super far ahead.
Oh, initiation onto Loda. Huge burst damage. They destroy him. BKB still on cooldown. They knew it, and they seized the opportunity. Now Pablo disrupted, taking pretty heavy damage. It is the Rubik, so he's a little more survivable against the spells, but it's just not enough. The Grand Magus will fall, and now Alliance with 3 heroes on the sideline. Their tier 2 tower mid will be turned to rubble, and Vega have some options. Roshan is up.
The game
they might just go high ground.
Last 5 minutes.
It really did. That's one of those, like, you can't directly blame the pause, but I'm sure that did not help Alliance's decision-making in that situation whatsoever. That's really
completely
brutal.
agree. Like, pressuring around the lane, like, they use Naga sleep, but then get anyone actually disabled. Maybe they're expecting somebody to follow up or start the initiation as the sleep went off. Like, it changes everything.
It just ruins the flow of the game. You lose track of where the enemy heroes were when they're in fog and all that kind of stuff. Tier 3 tower goes down. They force a buyback from the Axe. And it looks like they won't get anything out of it. Absolute perfect scenario for Vega. They get 2 towers, they force a buyback, and they don't concede a single death. They've got to be feeling good.
Yeah, now Axe is way behind the Morphling. Maybe not way behind, but 2,000 to 3,000 gold is big impact in the mid game.
Compared to how it started as well. I mean, Axe was 2 to 3k ahead for most of this game. So now that the tides have really turned, Morphling very close to an Eye of Scotty, basically just a point booster off, and he's got it.
That's really dangerous now. Because then a hero like Axe is going to be able to carry as well. Once he, even with BKB, he jumps in, pops BKB, and he's just permanently slowed until he gets out somehow. He doesn't have a 4-step either due to him being more of a carry or carry Axe.
Yeah. Roshan does go down in favor of Alliance, however. Aegis of the Immortal goes to S4. I mean, the obvious choice this game, how many times he's died. He might be thinking about a Blink Dagger about 100 gold away. A little bit of mobility would definitely make his life easier.
I don't even know what he gets, honestly. It's pretty behind here.
Yeah.
Probably just BKB, honestly.
Really?
He needs to not get stunned. As much as it sucks to buy a BKB when you already have Blade Fury, but...
It's the Blink. Maybe Blink BKB. I think he really does need some kind of mobility tool to try to find pickoffs. And I mean, do you feel like Alliance are at this state where, well, I guess they're still not... It's like an even game now. They're not that far behind. They haven't lost barracks. So he doesn't have to do anything too crazy, but finding kills is one way to start this road to recovery, and I think the Blink Dagger really helps him do that.
Yeah, it definitely does. You can also get on the backline a lot easier, too. If they bro strike on your allies, you can blink to the backline and just Omni-slash somebody, at least force them to disrupt or grave themselves.
FN just picked up the Eye of Scotty, but he gets rotated on after a smoke. Do they actually have the damage for this? Arrow flies in, huge stun from the Sand King. Now the Omni-slash flies, but Vega joined the party with a lot of magic damage. Alliance can't find the initial kill they were looking for. Morphling makes it out, but now Iceberg, he gets caught. Nice stun from Bulldog, secures the kill. And now Sam of the Slayer gets set up for a dunk. It ends up being a 2-0. Alliance take the fight, but not the target they were hoping for, and that of the Morphling.
Really good fight for Alliance there. They've got the gem pickup now as well in Naga, so no more invis shenanigans, but comes down to the first couple kills. Maybe there needed to be an epi. Oh, they're gonna get Mag too.
Oh, wow. They just barely caught vision of him. Mag thought he was in a pretty safe spot, but they've got a ward down, and it's another easy kill. Now Alliance get rewarded with a free tier 2 mid, and they go high ground. So right back the other way. 2 buybacks available for Vega. They'll use the glyph. Dazzle, the only one without a buyback, but he's up in 10. There's Sand King. Does have an epicenter. Rana, 25 seconds till the respawn. They might just get this tier 3 tower and back. Alliance giving Vega a taste of their own medicine. Back-to-back towers, a buyback, and no follow-up kills to redeem the cost.
I think if there wasn't a weave, they can maybe stay, but getting too scary.
Mag jumps out, finds the stun on S4, but now the Song of the Siren from EGM is just a way to disengage. Everyone else starts to run, and EGM will TP home. Better safe than sorry. It is a level 2 song, so still a pretty lengthy cooldown, but it does ensure a safe getaway.
Yeah, well, either way, really good for Alliance. They got a bunch of kills out of that one.
And they force a buyback.
Get up a Shadow Amulet. Probably Glimmer Cape here, I would assume.
Yep.
He might as well, honestly. Like, he's already got mech ready to go. If he can just Song and Glimmer somebody that's about to die or gets initiated on, it'll change the fight completely. Even if they still have vision on them, it should be very effective.
Mid lane, initiation again onto S4. Remember, he's got the Aegis, hit by the E-Blade. He will be able to spin out of it. Blade Fury keeps him alive. Pablo with the stolen Burrow Strike goes in on the FNG. BKB used by Bulldog. They'll try to bring him down, but the Shallow Grave buys him a few seconds. Dunk from Axe secures the kill. Now the disengage. Moonlight Shadow's out, but remember, they do have detection on EGM. Mag able to make it away from Berserker's call, but now FN kind of left behind as Lincoln gets broken. Mag with an epicenter. It just doesn't do enough. Loda with the Blade Mail returns so much damage. Still with the Slayer trying to do what he can, but Pablo chasing him back, finds the telekinesis, and Dazzle will be one left behind. No TP, no way to make the escape. He does have a Lotus Orb. Cool item to see on Dazzle, but not saving him this go-around. Alliance again taking the fight. Marana, I think, just about in the clear. Amp damage will expire. S4 looking for an Omni. Loda catches him with the Berserker's Call. They have lost the Slardar, but there's the Omni Slash. Does not kill the Mirana. FN will be able to tank through it, and they'll be just fine. Great leap from Mirana. Just barely keeps her alive on a sliver of HP.
I didn't even see her leap out. She just disappeared for me.
Yeah. Loda.
Oh, that was such a good...
That was clutch. I like that. Now S4 comes back in. Waveform out. FN has a replicate down, and he jumps right to it. Even though Alliance are still in okay shape, I feel like they're really having a lot of trouble controlling this Morphling. I mean, we saw that gank near the Radiant Ancients not that long ago, and it was a 5-on-1 for a little while, and FN was able to make it out at only half HP.
Yeah, it is very hard for them to kill Morph, but I think that their scaling is going to be good enough. Like, Blade Mail alone on Axe with this much HP is a good Morphling solution, just because of how much damage you can reflect. Plus, it's amplified by amp damage, so despite Morphling having lots of HP and lots of armor, Slardar provides the solution against that, and their other two cores are diversified enough that I think they can do it.
Alright, well, time will tell. 500 gold up on Loda. Maybe... Does he go Lincoln's? Is that what this is? He picks up an ultimate orb.
It could be a Scythe of Ice as well. I'd be a little surprised, but...
Oh, that's an interesting choice. So on the position 1, he's kind of the initiator. Hop in, grab somebody with a Hex.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. He can break Lincoln's by himself with Battle Hunker, so...
Yeah, that could be
possibility. Good. And it gives you pretty much as much mana regen as you're ever going to need, and otherwise you sometimes do run out, so...
It reminds me a little bit. Yesterday we saw a Clinks do that build where he went Deso, a few other items, ended up going for the Hex fairly early on, and sort of a similar vein with the way you initiate and you can find those solo kills very easily.
Yeah,
I think like a Hex allows him to kill anyone except Morphling by himself if he's smoked up and hunting around.
You can also one-shot the Replicate as well. It's kind of a good solution to Morphling getting out.
Yeah, that's another really good point.
We'll see if it goes. It could just be Lincoln's, honestly. Lincoln's is still very good this game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always like a Burrow Strike or something that starts it off for him.
It's still weird to me that Burrow Strike eats a Lincoln's charge, because it's not really single target. I guess you can make it, but it's just one of those funky mechanics that... Weird.
It's weird. I think it's cool though. It's a nice solution to the hero that... I mean, it's a stun that's so hard to stop, you know? I think that's one reason why Lincoln's is pretty fair, because the cast time is so amazing with Blink.
Yeah.
Be no good solution otherwise.
Right. Last outer tower for Alliance. Taken out by Vega. Just a little bit of illusion pushing. And that's one thing Vega have not done at all, is illusion harass. They haven't really done this slow chip, let's use illusions. They've just been playing kind of a straight up game with the Shadow Demon in these team fights. They've kind of been doing it a slightly different style.
Just haven't really had a good opportunity. I mean, both teams are very good at initiating. There's not a lot of opportunity for the slow siege when you're against a Naga, Axe, Slardar, Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a good point as well.
Oh, there's the BKB done for Jug now. Very good choice. Next item, we'll see what he gets. AC's already being built by Bulldog, so it won't be AC, but... And it's probably not going to be Butterfly either, I would say.
Scotty,
maybe
perhaps?
Scotty, yeah, perhaps. Or Abyssal probably is what I'd get, actually. His attack speed's pretty good already, so... That's maybe not amazing, actually.
Well, it's still good to have, like, once you have this Blink Dagger, you're at this point, you can jump in, initiate. It just gives them another way to start off the fight that doesn't require the Axe or the Slardar to commit.
Yeah. And, you know, the Vanguard regen wouldn't be terrible either, because there's a lot of burst damage from Vega, so... I could see Abyssal.
Yeah. Everyone seems very comfortable farming right now, though, Purge. Both teams pretty much tucked into their side of the map, just pushing out lanes, working towards that next round of core items. There's a Mantisile now up on the Morphling. He's got 3,600 gold. Probably BOTs on the horizon for him before too long. And then that last item, Butterfly, likely.
Yeah, I think Butterfly is really good, especially against Slardar. I like it a lot.
Yeah, none of the heroes on Alliance really natural MKB carriers. Jug can get it, but not really his go-to. Same with Slardar and Axe.
Yeah, so items are kind of weird here, but still not too surprised that both teams are just farming. Morphling's getting kind of out of control as well. Obviously, an Axe isn't going to be able to match a Morph late game. This is pretty funny. Like, they can't even do, like, reasonably nuke against the Morphling Replicate. So dangerous. Like, it does so much damage by itself, and he could just pop into it any moment and kill them.
Yeah. It's really scary. Like, with the shotgun and right clicks, he can just almost one-hit KO his support, and then go blow for blow with a hero like the Juggernaut very confidently. Loda,
he does get Lincoln's.
Almost hit by an arrow. Whew. Okay, so Lincoln's not. Okay. Well, safe bet. I mean, Loda has been acting as their front liner. It seems like he's been the initiator, and it's almost more like Bulldog is kind of the counter initiator in these fights. Has kind of been the way they're playing it. Like, they want Bulldog to be able to get up the amp damages before he commits in hard. So it makes some sense, though, the way they've been taking these fights, that Loda just wants to go raw survivability.
Yeah, I think their builds make a lot of sense. Maybe like to see up lads on them as well, but a little expensive for what they need it for. They really just need to get a pick, and they've been kind of waiting for these item timings for a long time. It's actually going to be Roche that they're waiting for. Okay. Roche, at least they know that S4 won't just die right at the start of the fight. Do that twice instead. I mean, they've almost got their AC among other important items now. So yeah, it's a good timing window for them to try to take, now that they've finished all their major stuff.
This is Roche 3, baby. Aegis and Cheese going to be on the way for Alliance. Juggernaut grabs the Aegis, and Cheese probably in the hands of one of these supports. Rubik, he's going into an Aghanim Scepter, it looks like. Point booster already secured, and almost has 1,000 gold towards the next piece.
Getting there slowly, but he'll make it at some point. There's a lot of good spells he can steal also. He can steal Burrow Strike in his Ags works. Steal Starstorm. Anything else? Demonic Purge would be a really good steal also. You have 3 charges. It works like that.
Yes. Yeah, you get the Ags upgrade, I think, yeah, you get the 3 charge. I'm actually not sure if I've ever actually seen that. An Ags Rubik steal the ult from Shadow Demon. I would assume you get 3 charges. I think that's the... That's what quote-unquote logic would tell me, but as we know, Dota mechanics are often not based in logic, but arbitrary historical mechanics.
Blink Dagger on Rubik, or on EGM is really important too, on Naga Siren. That way, if anybody gets initiated on, you can just Song plus Blink. So, better.
He's got a lot of ways to save people now. Guardian Greaves, Glimmer Cape, and Song of the Siren.
It's a really good build. Oh, and he's just got...
Nice. That's a 60-second cooldown on ult. Yeah, it's crazy how well that ult scales. Now you can feel comfortable using that pretty much every team fight. When you're in that stretch before level 16, it's always hit or miss. Like, 2 minutes is a pretty long time. If I waste this now, they have an opportunity to go for Roche, push objectives, and they know that we don't have any ability to reset. And that is one of the main reasons you pick this hero as a support, so you can totally just stop a team fight dead in its tracks and reevaluate your positioning.
The push continues from Morphling, so
yeah,
still farming, but he's not that far ahead anymore.
Yeah,
he used to be really far ahead, but
and once you get to this part of the game where heroes are pretty 6-slotted, that difference is a little bit, you know, more significant. Morphling is ahead by 6k gold, but he's also got 5k just sitting in his bank right now. He sells the power treads, and he will go for a butterfly now that he's picked up the BOT. His quarterstaff already in tow. Probably wants to pool for buyback at this stage of the game, but Asian is going to be something that Alliance has to deal with.
And maybe they can deal with it while they don't have the right items. They don't have the right heroes either.
I mean, they have Aegis Cheese, so maybe they can force something before it actually comes out, but Loda up top, not going to be able to catch Mag. Falls a bit short. Radiant Courier does go down, however. No cargo, but they do kill it.
And S4 opts for boots of travel as well, so more mobility there. Better than Phase in a lot of ways. And next item, he really does need a hybrid attack speed item. Maybe he goes Butterfly, though. Really good this game. Morph can still nuke him, but if he has BKB and Butterfly, at least it offsets a lot of the mischance that you're playing. Well,
yeah,
I think it's probably better than Abyssal.
4,500 gold. He's not too far away. FN, he does not have buyback. He's gone all in for the Butterfly now, so there is a short window. 2 minutes on the Aegis. Little bit scary for Vega if Alliance can get it together and try and force a fight, but the way they're positioned, they've got to do it just about right now, and maybe they will rendezvous. Smoke.
It's all about wards, really. They follow where their opponents are, they're going to try to move in from the backside and get a kill. Mag almost has a hex of his own, I think.
Dire vision we're looking at. They know there's at least one hero down bottom. The pings are coming from Loda. They know some of the team is nearby, but they just don't have vision of who or where. Well done by Vega to dodge the gank. More time off the Aegis. About 1:20 to go.
Farming continues. I might just saw that sort of got really his pain off too. He really separated himself from the Sand King.
Yeah. Farm, farm, farm. 28 kills in 44 minutes. Both teams really respecting each other, the way they're moving around the map. Just expecting the other team to...
It's just so hard to take a fight. Like, if they go on the wrong hero, they get graved or disrupted, and then they should die in response. And
it's like both teams just have incredible counter initiation, so that incentive to be the first one to initiate the fight is just not there.
It's really tough for them. So goes
MKB. Okay, so once just a straight counter to the butterfly. Yeah, as long as he can actually get off the auto attacks to use it. You know, be very effective in doing damage to the Morphling. We've seen the problem with Jug this game has been more about survivability than anything else. Yeah, ranged barracks finally falls mid.
It has been, yeah, but MKB is just so strong. Like, the attack speed it gives you, the magic damage it does is going to do more thing than physical would in most cases.
Yeah, I see. And I like that he's not revealing it right away also. He's picked it up and it's just sitting back at home, waiting for the Aegis to expire. He does have slot issues, but not revealing it straight away.
Illusions are a problem. Having a lot of issues killing them.
And it's just going to get worse. Still, Vega haven't been doing as much illusion harass as they could be. And now with that tier 3 tower down mid, if they start to get control of the map, they're getting closer to that point where if they can lock Alliance, they can just slowly chip away. Everybody back to their side of the map. Aegis very close to expiration now. Or no, it's already expired, pardon me. Yeah, he's got the MKB in the inventory. So that advantage for Alliance is gone.
It should mean Vega looks for a fight, but again, both teams are kind of having trouble.
They still have a cheese, but wow, Hex now on Sand King. He is so farmed.
Yeah, that's such a good item build. If you could just continuously reinitiate, get out, or chain disable the right guy, makes. I don't know if they'll ever take a team fight though, so maybe it won't actually be useful.
It's true. Hex not really your item for farming. Down bottom, FN catches S4. Missed that one. Does he? I guess if he can catch S4 when he doesn't have spin, the shotgun is still very, very potent.
Yeah, and it probably was that. He did use healing wards, so you probably realized his mistake, but probably too late.
Yeah, no buyback on S4 either. He went all in on the MKB, 35 gold short, so we will have it soon, but still presents an opportunity for Vega to push up and do some damage. At the very least, forcing a buyback from S4 does hurt.
Yeah, especially because he's one of the most farmed heroes, and he's needed to go ahead in terms of farm. Like, Marana's actually caught up finally. She's got E-Blade of her own also.
Wow, 2 E-Blades now. Loda's Lincoln's broken right away. Arrow flying through, almost hits the Rubik, but Pablo able to sidestep it. Now the illusion harass begins, and just look how tanky that illusion is. FNG disrupts it, more illusions coming out. And Barracks just dying to straight up illusions. And Loda now dying to straight up illusions. This is ridiculous, and it's so low risk for Vega. FN can just walk up to the high ground. He's got a replicate down, and the Lincolns. Not a fear in the world. That's an easy melee Barracks for Vega. And they will just rotate out. That's the power of
Shadow Demon. And Morphling's just clearly the best illusion hero to do this with because he does get so much agility damage.
This stage at least, for sure.
His illusions have 45 armor for God's sake. Like, how do you beat that? 45 base armor? What the hell?
Oh my god. 80% physical damage reduction with the weave. Although the ridiculous part is that with the 45, he's got 73% physical damage reduction. So looks like Vega now going to take their turn with a DC.
I don't even. I like this game is so weird for Alliance. They're scared to push. They can't stop split push very well because Morphling is just getting a pick off here or there, and they can't really catch the enemy supports very easily either. It's just a very, very difficult game. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of how they've been playing at TI. They'll get some advantage. They're scared to do something has risks involved, such as like pushing, ganking, things like that. They just kind of continue the game, and eventually they lose it. Is what happened a lot at TI.
Yeah. They are in this precarious situation where, again, it feels like they have heroes that can control the game a little bit, but they still don't have a way to control this Morphling. And now that the illusion harassment is so scary, and we've seen it firsthand, I think Alliance need to kick it into high gear. This is where you need to start taking a little bit of risk and looking for ganks, moving out of your base, because once you're locked in your base and watching those illusions siege, you don't have a good option to initiate. You have to burn some of your spells, some of your power on just killing illusions, and that's handing an initiation over to Vega. So I think the key is going to be taking these fights out of the base, catching somebody off, getting Vega out of their comfort zone so they can't sit back and do that low-risk siege. And here we go. They move right into enemy base. They've got creeps, so no backdoor protection. Vega are just going to hand this over. It seems like they're not quite ready for it. No TPs home. Mirana inbound. They've gotten the range barracks. Melee still standing. Alliance not committing too much to it. Another one of these weird situations where Alliance assumes Vega's going to come back and make a strong defense, and Vega is able to do it with just 2 heroes, kind of bullies out with their posture, and now Alliance retreat. Only a ranged barracks secured. It is something, but not that much.
They're probably wondering, like, hey guys, why don't we try doing that earlier? We just got a free barracks.
Yeah. It's kind of peculiar how Vega didn't overreact. Like, Mag as well as the Shadow Demon, FNG were just split pushing, happy as clams, split farming their lanes.
I mean, if you overreact, then you lose some of your potential on the map. You know, if you don't push in the other lanes, then Alliance just stays there and slowly sieges for 45 seconds. Because if they push heavily and then go back to defend, then they guarantee the Rax doesn't die. I mean, they got range barracks, but whatever, just ranged. And past that, other lanes are still pushing. S4 could die here.
Oh, Blink Hex from Mag. Now the follow-up, EGM with the Song of the Siren. They will reset. S4 needs to be careful. He gets hit by another star, so it does break his Blink. And now Alliance just retreat. Song of the Siren down. They will try to push out down bottom. Loda in the front of the creep wave, but there's already a tier 3 tower missing in the top lane. It's exposed barracks, no glyph for Alliance. Vega will be able to kill this so quickly, especially if they know Loda's not there. They rotate the heroes top with Moonlight Shadow and send illusions down bottom. This is so smart, Purge. The Morphling Replicant almost kills the tower on his own. As soon as they commit to the fight, the Morphling just goes straight for structures. Iceberg gets initiated on, but I think Vega would be okay to sacrifice their Mirana just to make space for the Morphling to finish this game. They disengage very nicely. Top lane of barracks go down, and Morphling finishes off the barracks down bottom. It is Mega Creeps, baby. Nicely done by Vega, giving the Rats a taste of their own medicine here. Alliance looking for one more fight, but Seoma still alive. He has the shallow grave. Axe not nearby for the dunk. He'll finally bring him down, but Vega get away with that, losing only their support Dazzle. It doesn't get much better than that, Purge.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's looking pretty much game here for Alliance. They just never really moved across the map and got something done. And I know there's a lot of scary things on the enemy side, and there was a lot of great split push from Vega, but I think they had a couple opportunities to try to attempt going high ground. Just couldn't deal with the split push well enough, and they were a little too scared to take fights.
Yeah, you can understand it from the Alliance perspective. You feel like if you take a fight out of your base and you lose, it's just over. But they couldn't really do much there either. That wasn't really much of a fight. They took an initiation while Morphling just completely crippled the barracks because he pushes so damn fast. S4 caught again by Mag, but Bulldog there with the counter initiation. Takes a lot of burst from FN. Eats the cheese after he pops BKB. That will keep him alive a little bit longer as this fight starts to spread out. Bulldog still on the run. Loda now joining the party. EGM inbound as well. He does have a song if they want to use it to reset. They isolate the Sand King with the Yule Scepter. The BKBs from Alliance not doing a hell of a lot. They finally kill the Sand King. However, Morphling does chase down S4 on the other side. Now Iceberg BKB'd, Moonlit Shadowed on the run. They do have amp damage. They catch him with the Ensnare. Follow up, but the E-Blade got no way to deal with this. He's by himself. It's all a distraction because, hey-oh, enemy base. FN gets a solo kill on Rubik and clears out some tier 4s. Now he TP's back in. Song of the Siren gives him some time. Vega looking to take this final fight. Alliance have to win this. They do kill the Dazzle. Arrow flies through, hits on Loda. He's still spinning, but it just doesn't matter. EGM dies. All of the final buybacks coming through. Alliance doing everything they can, but this one really feels like it is over.
Morphling just does so much damage here, even with Blade Mail on. Like, Morphling just completely eats through it. I'm sorry, he doesn't have Blade Mail yet, or anymore. He's got Shiva's Guard, but
oh yeah,
there's just nothing to match it really. Like, Blade Mail's maybe one away, but
honestly, this Hex on Sand King has been incredible. Mag went from being a good initiator to now when he catches someone, they're pretty much dead unless Alliance commit a lot. Final BKBs being committed. They still can't lock down this damn Morphling. Manta style used. BKB is again by Alliance, already popped. Lincoln Sphere from Loda keeps him safe from the stun from Mag, but now Mirana going in with more stars. Loda misses the Berserker's call. FN reinitiates monster kill streak as he finishes off Rubik. FN playing this Morphling so well, initiating with burst damage, then moving away so they can't follow up, making this so hard for Alliance to do anything. Lincoln's broken again on Loda. Hex, follow-up stun. Iceberg jumps back in. FN joining the party. He does get off the Omni Slash, but it's a slam dunk from Loda to kill the Sand King. Full of casualties on the side of Vega, but it just doesn't matter. Creeps are pushing in. They're out of tier 4 towers now. They're barely able to hang on, and S4 finally calls it 18-23. 53 minutes later, Vega take game 1 in this upper bracket best of 3.
Just didn't have a good Morphling solution, and they had good early game, and they consistently were matching Vega in fights and Charm, but they just never got ahead of that. They never really were able to get a great team going, so it's not too surprising. It's still very reminiscent of the other problems that Alliance has been having consistently. You know, we were watching matches right before TI, where Alliance was having some trouble closing games out. TI, they're definitely having trouble closing games out. It's like their late game decision making, they're just not feeling confident about it, and it's putting them in these situations where Vega or other teams can just abuse them eventually once they find that opportunity. Like, I don't even know if EGM died this game. They still just had so much trouble.